10 o'clock on the dot. Hi, welcome back to another stream. Today I didn't have enough time to prepare something new, honestly. I want to do something Next.js in the next one on Tuesday. But today we're going to stick with what we did last time. And we are again in the skills section of LinkedIn. And when I had a look at the list of skills that they have, most of it is technologies. It's frameworks, it's databases. We have Ruby on Rails, we have Kotlin, we have Go, we have programming languages, we have Android on here, and then every once in a while just some software. You can have a skill section for Visio, a skill test for Visio, for QuickBooks. There was one on accounting. And today I want to do a few of them, and I want to go through them as quickly as I can. I'm not going to do the whole thing that I did last time, where I then took screenshots of all the questions and walked through everything that we did, all the questions and answers again, and exported. Today I want to see how many I can get done in, let's say maybe an hour and a half. And I want to start. Let's start with one reasonable one. We are going to look at, I think, Json probably, and then I want to do random ones. If you have any suggestions, throw them in the chat. I want to explore the Outlook badge, because I don't know how you'd need a skill quiz for Outlook. And they have like Word, we could do Excel. Excel could be heavy on the formulas, so that might not work well at all. But these are ones, Visual Basic. If they have Visual Basic, I have never used. But yeah, I'm looking for ridiculous ones like that. We're going to start with JSON, the JavaScript object notation. Gonna go through that quickly, and then we're gonna do a few random ones. We're not even gonna look at the practice questions today, because as we saw last time, they're pretty far removed from what the actual questions will be. Let's just start. Which key name is used to specify properties that must be included for JSON to be valid? Important, base, required, and core. And already, I don't know which key name is used to specify properties that must be included for JSON to be valid. Valid JSON key name. Let's see if Google helps us. Which key name is specify properties? What do they have here? The counter is running down to a minute. Do you have the words important, base, required, and core? Important. No, required. Base. No, that doesn't seem to be it. Core also not on here. So no idea. I'm going to say base. It doesn't matter if there's not. Which term is commonly used to refer to converting data to JSON? To convert it to JSON. We don't want to unpack it. Parsing would mean taking a string and turning it into a JSON object. Yeah, serialization, deserialization is something else. We're going to go with parsing. It doesn't show us if the answer was correct or not. We're just going to have to continue with which value is supported in the JSON specification. Undefined, NaN, null, and infinity. Aren't all of them defined? So NaN seems very JavaScript heavy. Infinity I wouldn't expect to be written with a lowercase I. Undefined, if something is undefined in JSON, then it won't show up in the object we parse it to, I believe. So let's go with null and let's continue. What data type is encoded in the outermost component of the JSON shown? What data type is encoded in the outermost component of the JSON shown? So this array here. It's an array of objects that don't share the same markup. One has a year, one has a location. But if you want the outermost, this is square brackets. This would be an array. Just going through this as fast as I can. What does JSON with padding, JSON-P, use to make a request? The XML HTTP request object, the script element, the origin element, a header request. So script doesn't seem right. Origin I haven't encountered before. Header request sounds odd. And this one is JavaScript. That's what we do Ajax with. I'm gonna guess it. I don't need this to show up on my profile. How do you store several paragraphs of text as a string in JSON? You have a \n, you have like the line separator in there. Escape all white space except space characters. No. Escape paragraphs, escape line breaks, remove all white space. That wouldn't make sense, so escape line breaks. Which code uses the correct JSON syntax for a key value pair containing a string? So which of these gives me a key and then has a string after it? And it has to be correct JSON, not JavaScript, not in an object, but JSON. And for the JavaScript part, I would say double quotes, and in JSON it has to be, the keys have to be in quotation marks as well, so this one probably. If an object key contains spaces, how can you access its value in JavaScript with bracket notation? Remove spaces from key before accessing the value? Nope. Use dot notation, that one doesn't work. Use object key index to access? No, you don't want to. That would be, let's give me the key, give me the index of this key, and then I'm going to access it like that. Probably be possible. But no, we need bracket notations, and then we can use a string in the square brackets. Which code uses valid JSON syntax for the text Centennial Olympics? Which code uses valid JSON syntax for the text Centennial Olympics? Okay, so we have two key value pairs, one with a string, one with a number. And then we have the text Centennial Olympics in here. And JSON doesn't have comments, as we have in JavaScript. So none of this. That won't work. Comment is, yeah, has to be that one where we make it a proper key value pair. And we have to do the third one here. Next. Which JavaScript method converts JSON to a JavaScript value? JSON parse. Stringify would be the other way around, where it takes an object and turns it into a string. Wait, no. Is that what you want? No. Okay, what does the question want now? Which JavaScript method converts JSON to a JavaScript value? It takes JSON, so it takes a string. So we want to parse it. The other one would be the other way around, where we take what we have in JavaScript and turn it into something that can be turned into JSON. So JSON parse. Which is ignored by JSON but treated as significant by YAML whitespace. So YAML is yet another markup language, and it indents, it does the nesting with indentation. 2 spaces, 4 spaces, 6 spaces, 8 spaces are significant, as we have that in Python, for example, is very whitespace heavy. So, but JSON doesn't care. However far we indent something doesn't matter. But so ignored by JavaScript but significant in YAML is whitespace. Which code is a valid JSON equivalent of the key value pair shown that also preserves the data type? Which code is a valid JSON equivalent of the key value? Okay. So the key needs to be in quotation marks, and because this is a number, it can't be put into quotation marks. Which code is a valid JSON equivalent? So I would say because of the preserving the data type, this would have to be that one, but the key is not in quotes. And this one escapes the minus. If this is... I mean, the key... Okay, this one is throwing me off. I'm gonna have to go with this one. I don't mind. Which character cannot be part of string data within JSON without adding additional formatting? So the double quotes, because the double quotes are used to declare something as a key or as a value. Everything else we can use, but because the quotation marks are the delimiters for the value, it has to be that one that we put into quotation, into that we escape. Which element is added to the DOM to create a JSON P request? I don't know. What's JSON P? Yeah. Nah, I don't know what I'm doing. JSON P. Let's see what MDN has on the JSON P. Which element is added to the DOM tuple? Is it just because we do a JavaScript request? Does JSON-P stand on its own? Object would be... No, I don't think it's the meta. I'm going to go with this one and we're going to see. Which is supported by YAML, but not supported by JSON. Comments. So nesting we can do, null values we had earlier. Arrays is fine in both, but JSON doesn't do comments. We had to put that in a key before. And what do you say? Ah, didn't. Okay. But close. It's probably just the one question that I messed up, because I scored higher than 33% of assessment takers. I need to score in the top 30% to earn a badge. Just this one. So I could retake that at one point, but let's continue with another one. We're not going to bother too much with this. Where is Outlook? Microsoft Outlook. Don't know what you'd ask me about Outlook, but let's see. You copied several paragraphs of text to the clipboard and want to paste this text into the body of a new task. You copied several paragraphs. Okay. What is the most efficient? Okay, what are the keyboard shortcuts for it? Click on the task icon on the home tab and click new from clipboard. Click the task icon and on the insert tab, click new items, more items, paste special. That sounds like too much. Click the task icon. Okay, if I've already copied it, you probably want me to just tell you about paste now. Open a task using Ctrl-Shift-K. Okay, you want to teach me keyboard shortcuts now. Open a task form with a keyboard shortcut. Click in the body, then press. That sounds like if the most efficient way would be to not use the keyboard and the mouse, only be focused on just the keyboard. Cool. Why might you allow recipients to add, edit, and delete items in a shared contacts folder? The recipients are customers who might want to access other contacts. Email. Why might you allow recipients to add, edit, and delete items in a shared contact folder? The recipients are customers who might want to remove themselves from contacts. I don't think that's why I would want them in there. The recipients are peers who regularly update contact information. So if there's a shared contact folder, maybe you have updated information that I don't. The recipients are no longer involved with the project for whom the contact list was created. Why? That wouldn't make sense. What allows Outlook to automatically flag, forward, move, tag, and respond to email messages? What allows Outlook to automatically flag, forward, move, tag, and respond to email messages? Okay, rules. So if I have a rule set up and I tell it if this email comes in with this kind of subject line, add a tag to it. I know that Apple calls them rules, Fastmail calls them rules. So I'd be surprised if Outlook didn't. Question from the chat. I'm doing this because I want to see what I can get LinkedIn to give me skill badges for. I did some on JavaScript, HTML, CSS, a few others before. I did a stream on Tuesday. I want to see if I can trick them into giving me badges that I don't really deserve. A meeting reminder showed up and you accidentally closed it. What is the best way to bring back the reminder when in calendar view? I don't know. On Windows, on the Home tab, click Schedule View. On Mac, click View, switch to Other. Right-click the meeting in the calendar view and select Reminders window. Close and reopen Outlook. I don't think that's it. I think they want to teach us that there is a better way. Well, Schedule View and switch to Other across different operating systems, that wouldn't make a lot of sense. Right-click the meeting. I don't know what meeting it was. I closed it. So show me the reminders window or go to window reminders. Has to be while using focused inbox. No idea what focused inbox is. You notice that Outlook sometimes puts important messages from a specific customer in the other tab. How do you fix this for future messages? So other is probably one of the features where they automatically categorize it as promotions and newsletters and spam. How do we keep it from putting people in the other tab? Locate that customer in the people hub and select the focused checkbox. Right-click a message that was incorrectly organized and select move to focus. That sounds better. Close the Outlook application and relaunch. And right-click a message that was incorrectly organized and select always move to focused. I'm gonna say always move to focused, because that would probably cover other messages coming from the same person also. You receive an email from someone and want to find other emails from this. You receive an email from someone and want to find other emails from this person. Which method is not a way to see those emails across all folders? So 3 of those will give me all emails. Right-click the email and select Find Related Messages from Sender. That sounds right. Enter the person's email address into the search box. I can probably do that. Highlight the email in the viewing pane and sort by from. On the folder tab, click New Search Folder and select Mail from specific people. In the viewing pane, but I want to, it's probably not, viewing pane will probably show me my inbox, and it could be in other mailboxes as well. When you mention a colleague in an email message, what does not happen? So 3 of those things happen, 1 doesn't. Appears next to the message in your colleague's inbox. Maybe. Your colleague's name is highlighted in the message. Sure. The colleague is automatically added to the to line. Or an appears next to the email in your sent item folder. Why would it show up in my folder? Because I wasn't the one at probably for the recipient. How can you quickly locate emails with large attachments? Sort the messages by has attachments and then filter by is large. Is large a filter? If you're Outlook people, is large a filter? Sort the messages by has attachments and then by size. That's better than just give me large ones. Sort the messages by size and then filter by has attachments. No, that. Sort the messages by sender, because Auntie always sends us GIFs. So I don't know. That would, if that gives me largest to lightest, probably that one. What is a key difference between flagging a message for follow-up and creating a task from the item? What is a key difference between flagging a message for follow-up and creating a task for the item? So I guess there's a task list somewhere. You can set a reminder for a task, but not for a flagged item. Yeah. A task can be assigned to another person, while a flagged item cannot be delegated. Also, yes. A task will sync with Microsoft To Do. A flagged email will not. That also sounds right. No, that you wouldn't just shove my emails into. The flag message appears only in the inbox folder. The task appears in the to-do bar and task list. Someone says 2, so I'm gonna say 2, which means a task can be assigned to another person while a flagged email item cannot be delegated. Yeah, that sounds right. You created a meeting for next Tuesday at 2 p.m. and several invitees have accepted, giving me weird flashbacks. How do you change the meeting so it will begin at 1 p.m? A. Open the calendar in day, week, or work week view. Drag the start time to 1 p.m. and send an update. Double-click the meeting to open it, change the start time to 1 p.m. and send an update. Some people have already accepted, so you must cancel this meeting and create a new meeting. That can't be it. So A or B, right? Yeah. B? Only B. So open the calendar view. Chat says B. You can't. So A would mean I can go into a calendar view and drag it. And I can do that in other calendars. So I mean, if I flunk this, I'm gonna blame it on myself. If it's that one. I thought dragging was a thing in calendars. What rule can you create in view settings to color code messages from a particular sender? Format columns, group by sender, or conditional formatting. What rule can you create in... Yeah, oh, sure. What rule can you create in view settings to color code messages from a particular sender? Conditional formatting. Format columns, group by in view settings. Wait, conditional formatting, is that an Outlook thing, or is that like an Excel thing? Group by wouldn't give me color codes. by sender would show me only messages by that sender. Format columns would, no, it has to be conditional formatting. They're probably going to keep that name. What is the key difference between sending someone your Outlook contact and sending your Outlook business card? Your business card does not include personal information or notes. There is no real difference. Sending the contact is faster because the contact itself has no formatting. Speed doesn't matter, it's a bit of text. Sharing a contact is superior because more email systems support Outlook contacts rather than business cards. What is the key difference between sending someone your Outlook contact and sending your Outlook business card? Why would they tell me that that one feature is superior over the other, if this is about Outlook? Does anyone know? Your business card does not include personal information or notes. What kind of information is in a contact? It can't be, there is no real difference. What is an Outlook business card? We have 20 seconds. I don't know. I'm gonna click a button. I'm gonna continue this. Let's just get this done quickly. What would be the best way to have emails sent directly to you in your inbox, but hide emails for later review when you are in the CC line? So there's a later review feature somewhere. Create a rule to move all messages where you are in the CC line to the deleted items folder. Deleted doesn't sound right. Like creating a rule I was on board with, but later review I wouldn't do in the deleted items folder. Turn on focused inbox. But that earlier sounded like it lets through stuff from specific people. Create a CCD folder and then create a rule to move all messages where you are on the CC line to that folder, a CC'd folder. Yeah. Create a rule to apply conditional formatting to all messages where you are in the... Okay, so conditional formatting shows up, so that earlier answer was probably correct. What does the chat say? I almost think the fourth one, but who knows? I mean, we could, if we do conditional formatting here, we could say, no, we want to hide them. And I think conditional formatting would give me like colors and highlights. I'm torn between focused inbox. I'm just gonna go with the CC'd folder. When you compose an email and click the To or CC button, where does Outlook search first by default? When you compose an email and click the To or CC button, where does Outlook search first by default? I'm gonna say contacts. Your people list. Okay, it probably would look through all of them. What's the difference why would I have Outlook favorites? I don't want to live in this world where you spend so much time in Outlook that you have favorites. The global address book, is that probably, they mean the system-wide address book? I don't believe that's where it would look first. Recent emails, I don't know where it probably should search through all of them. Let's say favorites. For efficiency, how should you save a search that you run frequently? As a column, as a search folder on Windows or a smart folder on Mac, as a criteria set, by typing the search term in the search box, right-clicking and selecting Add to Favorites. Why would I run the same search frequently? And with that, so criteria set seems too less, the other one seemed very specific and on the, is it a criteria set? Okay, chat says criteria set. I don't know what it is. I'm gonna click the button. I'm gonna see, I don't want to show this. I earned a badge. Okay, fantastic. Thank you for all the tips in the chat because I have no idea. I'm kind of bummed that I didn't get Json, but I got the Outlook one. But great, I can now show on my profile that I am very good at Outlook. Haven't ever used it really. top 15% out of 3.4 million people even. This is great. Okay, if we can keep like this ratio up of wins and losses, then I'd be happy. What else? What do we want to see? I could, like, Agile, I could do. I have worked with SEO. Let's do SEO actually. That is back to the technical a bit. I would like to have that on my profile. I have 1.4 million people to complete PowerPoint. Okay, chat says PowerPoint. So we're gonna do PowerPoint. Microsoft PowerPoint. They also have Word. We can do Word next. Email next, then to the moon. I don't think they have the other email ones. So let's see what I want to ask us about PowerPoint. Which option changes a text box so that it automatically changes shape to fit longer text? Shrink text on overflow. Do not auto-fit. Resize shape to fit text. Text box vertical alignment. So 4 isn't it. And why would resize shape to fit text? That would mean there is more text and you have to increase the size. It wouldn't fit longer text. Do not auto-fit would be the opposite, so it has to be shrink text on overflow, right? Which option changes a text box so that it automatically changes? Oh no, wait, I read the question wrong. To change shape to fit longer text. Does that mean the text still fits in there, or does it mean that the shape grows with the text? I'm gonna say you want me to fit longer text. Resize shape to fit text. Go 1. Shrink text. You want your presentation to play over and over again on screen. What option must be set? Advanced slides automatically, loop continuously until escape. Advanced slides manually, use presenter view. So nope, that would be where I see all my notes. Advanced automatically, yeah, is one of them probably. Advanced slides manually would mean you have to click, and if you wanted to loop it, the word loop is right in there. Everyone's telling me 3, 2, what? Okay, I like that the chat is involved in this, but I don't get a clear signal how to continue here. A picture looks good in your slideshow, but pixelated when you print it. When you print your PowerPoint presentation. How can you fix this? Remove picture compression. Change the printer property settings to print in a higher resolution. Compress the picture and use the print 200 ppi resolution settings. Select best scale for slideshow, increase the picture resolution and resize the picture to the original size. Why did I do this quiz? Select, okay, I mean, if chat says 4, select best scale for slideshow, increase the picture resolution and resize the picture to the original size. That sounds like something PowerPointy. That sounds like, hey, did you know about this feature? Because how would I remove picture compression? I don't think it has is something in the printer that I need to change. Compressing the picture wouldn't do anything about that. No, okay, so yeah. Easy 4, just I'm confused by what the other options are. Which effect can a presenter use to add motion to an object on a slide? So that's the kind of question that I was expecting here. Transition, zoom, animation, or add in. Which effect can a presenter use to add motion to an object on a slide? Add motion. Is it? So zoom is not an add-in, it appears, but the object is on the slide already. And we want to put it somewhere. So we're gonna go with transition. Go from this transition to that over here. I'm just gonna go with what the chat tells me now. Many PowerPoint slide backgrounds use a color effect that is gradually shaded from top to bottom. What is this effect called? Do you want to gradient, right? Gradient fill. What? Okay, we're gonna just enjoy this question. Do you know about this cool feature in PowerPoint where the color changes shade from top to bottom? I want this badge now. Gradient fill. There's an unfortunate delay with the chat, with how I'm streaming this. You need to apply a special effect that will display as the presentation moves from one slide to the next slide. Which should you apply? You need to apply a special effect that will display as the presentation moves from one slide to the next slide. Which should you apply? Transition, theme, design ideas, or animation? Okay. And feedback from the chat earlier was maybe transition is between slides and animation is to animate an object that's on the screen already. So maybe this one is the correct answer here. Transition. Okay, everyone seems to be in favor of transition. Transition, we're going to do transition. Which type of shape allows you to add text that can be moved around, formatted with styles and effects, or grouped with other objects? Which type of shape allows you to add text that can be moved around, formatted with styles and effects, or grouped with other objects? Is it a screenshot? Nope. A text box? A 3D model? Why did I read the question multiple times when it has obviously... I think someone's trying to... Which of these allows me to format text? A text box, thank you. Which option can be used to import selected slides from a previously created presentation into a new presentation without manually copying and pasting them? Import selected slides without copying and pasting them. Add section doesn't sound right. Slides from outline. Reuse slides if I want to reuse slides from a different presentation. So we're gonna go, reuse would be a cool feature. I don't know why I would, I don't know what life I need to live to have to reuse slides across presentations. How would you change a list of text? Oh, sorry, I didn't. Why didn't I do that? How would you change a list of text to a visual diagram on a slide? Convert to word art with cool background effects and shades and everything. Convert to smart art. Convert to picture, or convert to shapes. So word art looks very clip arty. I don't know what smart art is, but it sounds like a diagram. Request for the chat, if you're giving me numbers, I don't know if you're on the same slide as I am, so if you could tell me like picture, word art, smart art, shapes for questions like these, that make this easier. Otherwise I am going to have to guess shapes here. Now I see it too. Smart art. Smart art sounds like art that is smart, and diagrams are smart, so smart art. Thank you for that confirmation. Otherwise I would have... Can we get it? Five more questions. When you add encryption to a PowerPoint presentation, what does it do? It protects the file with a password. It requires the user to log into their Office 365 account. It shares the file in a cloud-based platform. Why would encryption do that? Scrambles the text so it's unreadable when opened. I mean, at least the password. Why would I otherwise know password? What do the labels introduction and projects by month indicate? Where are they? What do the labels introduction and projects by month indicate? So projects by month is over here. Ah, okay. These are the sections, right? Links to the next slide. Nope. Layouts. Nope. Hidden slides. Nope. They are, we can, if we look at that, we can toggle that open and closed. So those have to be section names. When you insert, adds it to the blockchain. I might have to ignore the chat for the remainder of this quiz. When you insert a new slide in a presentation, where is it placed in relation to the existing slides? So I have a presentation, I click on add new slide. After the currently selected slide, as the first slide at the end of the existing slides, before the current slide. So I want to add a new slide when I have something to add to where I am right now. If I have, and I have created presentations with hundreds of slides, it was silly of me to do that. But if I always had to drag it from the first slide, that'd be terrible. Same as the having it at the end. So I'm gonna say after the currently selected slide, because I think that is the only reasonable way. You are presenting with 2 monitors. Oh, this is advanced PowerPointing now. Which view displays a preview of the next slide and speaker notes on the second monitor? Is it presenter view, normal view, reading view, or master view? Which view displays a preview of the next slide and speaker notes on the second monitor? It's the presenter view. It's what I see as the presenter. Normal view wouldn't, no, has to be presenter view. How do you change the color of an icon you have added? That's some serious business there, PowerPoint. On the Graphics Format tab, click Graphics Fill. On the Design tab, click Format Background. On the Graphics Format tab, click Format Pane. On the Draw pane, click Ink to Shape. I want to click Pane right now. On the Graphics Format tab, click Graphics Fill. Ink to Shape. Okay, chat says Ink to Shape. The picture on the left is the original image. The picture on the right is smaller, but the flowers are the same size and part of the picture has been removed. What method was used to format this picture? So how do they cut off this piece of the image in PowerPoint? Did they use the crop tool, the crop to shape tool? Did they change the width and height with the aspect ratio locked? Or did they drag a corner sizing handle? So I think I want a shape to be involved. Is it as easy as crop? Does PowerPoint have a crop button or tool somewhere? Okay, so these sound a bit too design tooly. This one with dragging this corner sizing handle, I wouldn't expect to have in a PowerPoint. And if you say there's no crop to shape, we're gonna say crop. Do we have to redo this? Top 5%. Thank you very much. Okay. Out of 6.4 million people, you did great, chat. Thank you very much. I am now a certified PowerPoint. I'm a Mac user. I haven't used PowerPoint in well over a decade. But I can now claim that I'm good at PowerPoint. Cool. Someone wants to hire me as a product owner. I'm competent. Chat says go Word. I'm afraid of Word because of all the options and all the menus that it has. But we're gonna do Word. Could do WordPress, but you want me to do Word. Alright. What can you not create from a Word document? A Word 2003 XML document, a plain text file, a macro-enabled Word document, or a multi-page website. If you create multi-page websites from Word documents, you need to have your computer taken away from you. Please tell me this is the right answer, chat. Please tell me you cannot create a multi-page website from a Word document. Please, okay. In this image, what do the red lines next to the text indicate? There's a red line next to this heading here and a red line over here. I'd assume a comment someone left. Maybe someone did a review and told me, hey, please change something here, and this is an unobtrusive way. Comments were added to these areas. Changes were made to these areas. Changes I'd expect in a different color. Red is more, there's something you need to check out here. Track changes has been disabled. Draw tools were used in these areas, so it's not the draw tools. So chat also guessed comments. Changes I would not expect to be just a red line. And why would I disable track changes for just a part? No, not comments. Not okay. Okay, I didn't click it. What is it? What's the red line? It's changes. Okay. Cool. So you are very certain that this changes, so we're going to do that. Which option does the find and replaced feature not support? Does it not support replace all, whole word only, match case, or match punctuation? Chat said about the comments. Comments is the black arrow next to something else was on the screenshot there. Which option does the find and replace feature not support? Match punctuation? Because why would it care about punctuation? Why would that be special? The match casing, I would see that if you want to find a very certain writing of a word, you want to match the case. Yeah, so it has to be punctuation. That's an odd one out of the 4 options. Which feature allows you to copy attributes of selected text and apply them to another selection? Copy attributes of selected text and apply them to another selection. So copy styles. Copy and paste. I know there is at least in the Mac software, there is paste and match style. If you copy text from somewhere else, you don't want to paste it with the style that it has, but with the style that matches the document. So am I correct in saying copy and paste styles would work? Gonna give the chat a second. We don't need to rush this. Okay. Styles. I mean, if it's anything like the Mac software, has to be the styles. How can you break a table into 2 parts? Use the section break command. That would be a break between sections. Use the split table command. Are you serious now? Press Shift Enter or Shift Return. That would be a regular line break without creating a new paragraph. Or use the split cells command. That would take cells, and how do you split a table? With split table, probably. You are typing text in 2 columns. When you reach the end of a paragraph in column 1, you want to start the next paragraph in column 1 on the next page. What type of break should you insert at this point? Text in 2 columns. When you reach the end of a paragraph in column 1, you want to start the next paragraph in column 1 on the next page. Oh, okay. So continuous section break, page break, column break, or next page section break. I was gonna say page break, but then this one seems so specific, but also unrealistically so. Is a next page section break thing? Continuous section break. Okay, I'm gonna go to continuous section break. Sure. I'm not very worried about the word badge. When you crop an image in a document, what happens to the image and the overall document file size? When you crop an image in Word. Do the crop parts of the image disappear? Are they removed, and does the overall file size decrease? So, without reading the possible answers, I would assume that it keeps the original file intact, but it only shows pieces of it. So if I want to adjust the cropping, I can, meaning the file size remains unchanged. Second suggestion, the crop parts of the image are hidden and the overall file size increases. The crop parts of the image are hidden and the overall file size does not change. That's what I would go for. Or the crop parts of the image are removed and the overall file size does not change. So removing part of an image and the file size not doing anything, that'd be odd. 3 here. Yeah, exactly. If you want to undo it later, file size stays the same and we just don't show parts of it. You want to add a caption to a table. Which tab contains this option? Insert? Doesn't sound like it. Design, layout, or references. So references I would insert, and references is probably not it. Is it layout? Because design I would expect to only give me colors and borders. And layout would give me a caption. Insert. Valid remark in the chat that if it stores the information about what part of the image we cropped, that'd be data that it would need to store. So maybe the file size goes up. Yeah, I'm gonna see. Does a table always have a caption on in WordPress, in Word that we can set? Is that a thing that we can just specify, or do we have to insert it as a separate thing? Chat says insert, and I'm not 100%. Do we do insert? I have 20 seconds to decide. Anyone give me an idea. It's insert. You say insert, I'm gonna say insert. A document has been shared with you from your colleague's OneDrive library. They have given editing access only to you. What can you do with this document? Well, can't I edit it? Remove access from another user. I don't have admin rights. Co-author the document with your colleague. Assume ownership of the document. Or share the document with others. Well, if I have editing access, I can edit it. You want to create a shortcut that replaces an acronym that you type with the acronym's full text. For example, replacing /MT with Microsoft Teams. There you go with the product placement. What word feature do you use to create this shortcut? Replace all. Not if I wanted to automatically replace the text. Autocorrect options. Auto format as you type. Find and replace. So 1 and 4 are out. Is auto format as you type a thing? I'm gonna assume that replaces it as I type it. What is typically created as the first page of a document and contains information such as the document title and author? Doesn't seem very word specific, but that is a cover page. It's not the TLC, not the table of contents. Why would it? And a master page would be a, as we have in PowerPoint, a what the layout looks like, right? A blank page wouldn't contain okay, why do I talk about this? You want to be able to read one page in a document while editing another page in the same document. It does that. What's the most efficient way to do this with only one monitor? On the View tab of the ribbon, click New Window. On the View tab of the ribbon, click Split. On the Insert tab of the ribbon, create a bookmark for the location that you want to read. Save a duplicate copy of your document, then view both documents side by side. That's where they find out who isn't really a power user. Split, right? Yeah, you say split. Has to be split. Before publishing a document, you want to identify issues that may make it difficult for people with disabilities to read. Which feature should you use? Inspect document, protect document, check compatibility, check accessibility. Accessibility is about disabilities. So that one. You are sharing your computer screen to collaborate on a document. Which view should you use to minimize the ribbon and give your document the most screen space? You're sharing your computer screen to collaborate on a document. I want to say focus mode, but is that about typing? Because other apps have a focus mode where everything, all the window Chrome disappears and you focus on only the writing, but does that sometimes puts all the other text that's not on the line I'm currently editing in the background. Web layout view. Okay, sure. Last question. After selecting the entire document, what's the quickest way to find out how many paragraphs there are in your current Word document? Select everything. Give me the paragraph count. On the status bar, select word count to display file information, including the number of paragraphs. Maybe. Click File Properties Content to display file information, including the number of paragraphs. Click File Info Inspect Document to display file information, including the number of paragraphs. Okay. From the start of the document, hold down the Control or Command key and press the down arrow key repeatedly, counting each paragraph as you go. Probably could do that. I'm gonna go with, I think word count is definitely a thing on the Mac version for paragraphs. Okay, so I have two competing opinions now. Word count, if that is a hidden access to a panel that has more information, then maybe. File Properties Content to give me information about the content. I'm gonna go content. But that was close. Wow, okay. I'm in the top 30%, thank you. But I think I might have just made it. If I had gotten one more question wrong, that wouldn't have been it. But I can now put a Microsoft Word badge on my profile. Again, thank you. Yeah, I was confused with what I see in other applications, where I think in Ulysses, I would go through the panel that gives me the word count and everything. That wasn't easy. That was one of the hardest ones I had to sit through. So maybe going with random ones wasn't such a good idea. Who knew? What else is there? Is there something unreasonable? Let's look if we have something from Microsoft. Oh, if only there were Teams. Do you have Teams? No, I haven't worked with the other ones. Valid question from the chat. No, I can't. It doesn't give me the results. Unfortunately, after I have taken the test, it doesn't show me what questions I answered. It doesn't show me my answers to those questions. And unfortunately, I can't therefore see where I have gaps in my knowledge. That was really annoying when we did programming languages, because maybe I have an obvious gap in my JavaScript knowledge, but I don't know which of these 15 questions I got wrong. Oh, Azure Easy 15 of 15. I'm not a programming. Yeah, I'm gonna go programming language that I'm not familiar with, and I have done. So I usually work in JavaScript. I've done Java, of course. I've done PHP. I've done some Ruby a while ago. I think least familiar I'd probably be with a C language, like a C, C++. Maybe Python. Python as... Allow me Python to see if I can find my way into their Python programming language. And then we see if that is super embarrassing now. I am going to go back to something I have no chance of doing. Python. What is the correct syntax for creating a variable that is bound to a set? I have no idea. So what is a set? Is a set like a tuple? Is it? Do they call the objects a set? A set is a set of values. Does a set have to be all of the same type? It doesn't seem that way. So if this is a group, would a set mean that it only contains unique values? Who's a Python person? I'm gonna let the timer run down a bit because that already has me stumped, and I could go random now. But it feels like the stakes here are a bit higher now. Would it be called toSet or would it be called set here? These two seem similar. Set is an array of unique values. So I'd assume in Python for the function to appear at the end, This looks too JavaScripty. I'm gonna go that. How does default dict work? I don't know what that is. Forces a dictionary to only accept keys that are of the data type specified when you created the default dict. Why would that be called default? If you try to read from a default dict with a non-existent key, a new default key value pair will be created for you instead of throwing key error. So a dictionary that has a default value, that is what that one sounds like. Or it stores a copy of a dictionary in memory that you can default to if the original gets unintentionally modified. Or a default dict will automatically create a dictionary for you that has keys which are the integers 0 to 10. Why would you do 0 to 10? I'm completely lost. If you try to read from a default dict with a non-existent key. So, is a default dict a dictionary that has default values for things that aren't in there yet? I'm gonna try that. What is the correct syntax for defining a class called game if it inherits from a parent class called logic game? And that's one that if you know Python, is probably super obvious, but if you don't, then it isn't. Class game logic game. So with a logic game in parentheses. Or first question is it class or is it def? Class makes me think class, but Python could do a Python thing here. Isn't? No. Class though, right? And would I in the name? So this one seems like it would nest the logic game under the game. Chat says first one for sure, but oh no, wait. If you want to go on the Googles at the same time. Def is for a function. Okay, cool, that sounds good. Chat says 4. Chat says 1. Okay, I'm gonna go, I don't know. What is the correct syntax for defining an int method that takes no parameters? Does int always get self, even if it doesn't take any parameters? And we said that def is function, so it's not class. So it's either this one or that one. Does init always get self? Do I have to pass self to init every time? And how would I tell it to pass other parameters? Okay, I'm gonna say always receives self. Chat seems to agree. Suppose a game class inherits from two parent classes, board game and logic game. Which statement is true about the attributes of an object instantiated from the game class? What? So we have board game and logic game, and I want game to inherit from both of them. What is true about a game then? When instantiating an object, the object does not inherit any of the parent class's attributes. When instantiating an object, the object will inherit the attributes of whichever parent class has more attributes. When instantiating an object, the program must specify which parent class to inherit attributes from, in case of conflicts maybe. An instance of the game class will inherit whatever class attributes the board game and logic game classes have. Only thing that makes me question this, my answer, is what if they have naming conflicts? Would it then be about, would it pick based on the order that I have them in? Can I have conflicts? Does it catch those early? So first one, seems silly. Where it wouldn't. Oh god, the timer runs out. Okay, I have to click something or else it won't. If it's not counted, then no loss. What's the correct syntax for instantiating a new object of the type game? Why is heavy on the game in this one? So I'm gonna say not class game. Okay, so doing programming languages that you don't know, not a good idea. Class dot or class this doesn't seem right. So it's game or game dot create, and dot create sounds Python-y. But we saw this syntax somewhere else where that would be about the inheritance. Okay. I know this code provides the blank of the list of numbers. This code provides the blank of the list of numbers. Okay. Give me, this is a list. We sort the list. And then we do, give me the length of this. And escaped slash true. What's the double slash? So if we sort this first, it's 3, 5, 11, 13, it doesn't matter really. 18, 19, 21. And it would give me something in the middle. Average, isn't it? Because that would mean we have to sum them all up. Mode, what? Now what's the difference between a median and a mean? One of them is in the middle and one is, you take the largest and the smallest and give me the one in the middle. But that's not a Python, that's a math question I have now. What's a median? Okay, gonna go median. I'm not a Python developer, so I don't deserve this one. I shouldn't have this badge. What is the difference between class attributes and instance attributes? There is no difference. There is no difference between class attributes and instance attributes. Or class attributes belong just to the class, not to instances of that class. Instance attributes are shared among all instances of a class. Class attributes are shared by all instances of the class. Instance attributes may be unique to just that instance. That's why I was puzzled here, because instance attributes are not shared, they are for this instance. Instance attributes can be changed, but class attributes cannot be changed. No. Which syntax correctly creates a variable that is bound to a tuple? And I want to say, oh, okay, I got the first question wrong then, didn't I? This looks more like an array, and I think a tuple is a list of any kinds of values, and the parentheses seem more right. Should have listened to you more. What built-in Python data type is commonly used to represent a stack? None. You can only build a stack from scratch. A dictionary, a list, or a set. So a dictionary would be key values again, as we have with the object in the JavaScripts. A set is also a list of values, but unique, right? And a list is array-like, and you can add to the back and take from the front, so it has to be a list, right? I mean, to make it a proper stack, what would you need? You need push and pop, and if you have that in, do you have that? Oh, do you have that in Python? Regular push and pop, shift, unshift functions. Damn, this delay with the chat is making me nervous. I mean, saying you have to build it from scratch doesn't seem right if we do data in Python. I don't know how long really. You can do that to lists. Okay, if you can push and pop to lists, that's what a stack is. What is the correct syntax for defining an init method that sets instance specific attributes upon creation of a new class instance? Earlier we saw that init always receives the self. So can't be this one, can't be that one, because self always has to be passed, right? So what's the difference between those two? Okay, do I set them on self or do I just set them? But this one in the syntax alone doesn't seem right, because you'd set the thing that you pass it to the thing that you pass it. To set something on the instance, I'm gonna have to go with the self. What is the correct syntax for creating an instance method? Def get next card, def with self, def self dot get, def self dot get, and self. So this is about difference between an instance and a class method, and each line just keeps saying self to me. I would assume that from other programming languages, I'd expect that if we want to have something be a class method, we'd have to define that specifically. And if we... I don't think they all have to receive self. So it's 1 or 3 in my mind. And 1 seems to be like, that's something that we're going to do a lot. Methods of a class always have self, so 2, but it's an instance method. What built-in Python data type is best suited for implementing a queue? Isn't that the same as before? None, you can only build a queue from scratch. A dictionary, which is a key value store. A list or a set. A set isn't ordered, and a queue has to be, because you queue things up. What is the correct syntax for adding a key called variety to the fruit info dictionary that has a value of red delicious? So we have a, what do we have? We have a dictionary that is called fruit underscore info. And we want to set the variety to red delicious. This has 2 equals on it, which seems like a comparison. I'm gonna say no. And red delicious has to be a string. Anyways, we want to set it to the value red delicious. So this one's out, it has to be either 1 or 3, and because this has the 2 equals, this one has to be it. What does a generator return? An iterable object, all the keys of the given dictionary, a linked list data structure from a non-empty list, or none. I'm gonna put this on an iterable no, not an object. What does a generator return? Does it just not does a generator do something and not return? But it would generate something, so we would have to return something also. I mean, this could be like, let's up the stakes here. This could be make or break of this badge. What if I got too many wrong before, and now this is what gives me the badge, or makes me lose the badge? Suddenly I'm all nervous. Thank you for pointing out that the badge is within reach. What does a generator return? Anyone know? This is not a valid way to get any of the skill assessments, I guess. Hope no one finds out I'm cheating. Someone says defo 1. I'm gonna go that one. Top 15%? Okay, but honestly, that one I couldn't in good conscience put on my profile, because I, with my own skill, answered maybe 2 questions of this, only by assuming that the other 3 options weren't possible. So I could now apply to TopTel as a Python developer. No. Okay. Does it mean we have to go to something that I feel even less comfortable with? Do we do Excel now? What's the time actually? Okay, yeah, we can do Excel. You wanted me to do Excel before. Let's do it. I have nice that I have 9 of these badges now. Start. In the worksheet below, what do the symbols in rows 4, 6, 7, and 11 indicate? The text is too long and cut off. The dates are erroneous. I think it says error then, or an error. The columns aren't wide enough to show the full date. Makes sense with how narrow the other ones are. It doesn't cut off. It shows me something wrong. The times are incorrectly formatted as dates. The text is incorrectly formatted as dates. Is it the columns? See, we're off to a tough start. Let's look at it in a large view. With the way these other ones are put on here, it has to be the length of the text. No one else. I'm gonna continue. Which value is returned when you enter this function into cell G2? Equals if sum f2 colon f6 greater 12, too many tardy days, no tardiness issue. Okay, so what's f2 to f6? f2 to f6 is these numbers 0, 0, 3, 6, and 3, and we do the sum of them, which is 12. And if it is greater than 12, we see too many tardy days. If it is not greater than 12, we see no tardiness issue. 3 plus 6 plus 3 is 12, right? So it would be no tardiness issue. Now you come at me with num and ref. No, but these are fine. No tardiness issue. What ribbon command? Is that the line with all the icons? What ribbon command on the Home tab can you use to change a cell's fill color automatically based on the value of the cell? Remember from Word for conditional formatting. Because it has to be based on the value, based on a condition, so conditional formatting. In this worksheet, how are cells A2 to D2 related to cell C4? Okay, so we have a formula here. B2, C2, C2, D2, A2. So all of them lead to this result down here. They are comments relating to the formula in cell C4. No, they are not comments. They are the source of an error in the formula, are dependents of the formula, are precedents of the formula. Dependence of the formula. So the formula depends on these. Is that what that means? I'm gonna go with that. If cell A3 contains the text "the death of chivalry," what will the function equals proper A3 return? So it's nice that you put it into a cell first, but what does proper do? Does proper put everything in... so this is about casing. Does it put everything in lowercase? But that wouldn't be proper, that would be lowercase. The death of chivalry in title case, or everything in upper with initial capital letters. So I think if it's proper, they're gonna mean title case, and in title case we don't use a capital letter for words like of or for or n. And next, which chart type can display two different data series as different series types within the same chart? Technology is amazing. So what's this? The values are not important. Is it a combo chart, an XY chart, a bubble chart, or a clustered column? So a bubble chart would probably include bubbles. An XY chart only sounds like one set of values. of series. Clustered column doesn't look like this clusters columns at all, so I'm gonna say combo chart. You have a worksheet in Excel that will print as 10 pages. How can you ensure that the header row is printed at the top of each page? This seems much easier to me than any of the Python questions. Use page setup from, okay, no, I was wrong. Use page setup from the backstage view. Use freeze panes on the view tab. Format your data as a table. The header prints automatically. Use print titles on the page layout tab. I was wrong. Gonna do Python again. You have a worksheet that will print as 10 pages. That's insane. Page setup sounds more like the dimensions of the page. Freeze panes would mean these stay in place and everything scrolls, but that wouldn't put them on additional pages. Having to format my data as a table doesn't sound like a reasonable thing to do, so we're gonna say print titles. No, that doesn't sound right either. Isn't everything in Excel a table? So I don't know. Which chart type provides the best visual display of the relationship between two numeric variables? Box and whisker chart, radar chart, combo chart, or the XY scatter chart? Best visual display of the relationship between two numeric variables. So you have an x-axis and a y-axis, right? And scatter would mean you have individual points for each of your entries. Has to be the XY scatter chart. Yeah. In this image, a custom filter is being applied to product ID values that begin with $9. Which rows will appear after the filter is applied? Which rows will appear after the filter is applied? So which of these? Okay, so the question is, in this pseudo, I assume, regular expression type search, how many characters does the question mark stand for? Because it stands for exactly 1, then I would only get the row 5, because the product ID has a character and then a 9. But if it's any number of characters, it would give me any number, any row that contains a 9 somewhere, which would give me 4 and 5. Is question mark a wildcard for 1 or 2? So it's either row 5 or row 4 and 5. Rows where the second character in the product ID is 9. What's the time? 19 seconds. Appears 1 or more times? No, that would be the other way around. Where the product ID has 9 characters? No. Appears just once? No. Okay, so I'm gonna say it stands for exactly 1 character. You select cell A1. Hover the pointer over the cell border to reveal the move icon. Then drag the cell to a new location. Which ribbon commands achieve the same result? What's a ribbon command? Copy and transpose, cut and paste, cut and fill, copy and paste. So I want to remove it from where it is, and I want to move it over there. Which would mean cutting, because copy would leave the original in place. If I want to move it to a new location, it has to be cut and paste. In Excel, what do most formulas begin with? And we had a few examples in this quiz already. It is the equals, equals if, equals sum, equals whatever. What is the name given to numbers in or above each bar in a column chart as shown? Is it data values, data table, data numbers, or data labels? I want to say labels, because I have, if I didn't have the labels on the things, I wouldn't really know exactly what value this orange bar represents or what value this. So I'm going to say no. I am going to say data labels. Which Excel feature allows you to hide rows or columns with an easily visible expand collapse? So hide rows or columns with an easily visible expand collapse. Is that an expand collapse? Grouping, filtering, cut and paste, hiding. Has to be grouping, so I expect... What? Rows or columns? Could we group columns? Because I know we can hide, but is that easy? Is it easy to bring hidden columns back? Doesn't give us an expand collapse, I think it just takes them out. Does hiding a column give me a symbol in Excel that allows me to bring it back? We're gonna go hiding. I'm gonna go hide after this probably. To ensure that a collection of shapes are evenly spaced apart from left to right, select the shapes, click Page Layout Align, and then click Blank. Now all my design knowledge probably comes into play. Align center would mean you have a center in this group and align them all there. If we want to make them evenly spaced on this horizontal line, you want to distribute them horizontally. Align middle, well, difference between center and middle is that center is on the horizontal and middle is in the vertical. Distribute vertically doesn't make sense if we want to select them, if we want to space them from left to right. Distribute horizontally. Last question. The file extension of XLSM indicates what type of workbook? Is it a macro-enabled workbook? A workbook where macros are not allowed? Is it an Excel 2003 workbook? Or is it an XML standard workbook? Where's the M come from if it's XML standard? And where's the M? So I don't think that's it. And I think Excel didn't have the 4-letter extension. So it's macro enabled, because having a specific extension for something that doesn't allow macros doesn't sound necessary. Macro enabled workbook. Am I certified on Excel? Top 15%, look at that, out of 18.9 million people. I think I forgot to say million earlier and said like 18.9 people. Again, unfortunately, we don't see the questions and we don't see the responses. I don't know which of these I completely bombed and which of these I rocked the hell out of. We would have to do that again. Last time I took screenshots along the way and then tried to find out which I did wrong. Wasn't easy. Whew, so that gives me a total of 10 badges, and I'm now even more annoyed that Json is the one that I didn't get. How do I get Python and Excel and Word, but not JSON? While I use JSON a lot. That is, and I can retake it, but I can only retake it once, and I don't want to do that stressed out by the other ones at almost 11:30 at night. Is there one more? So previously I already did CSS, I did front-end development, HTML, JavaScript, and jQuery. Today we did Excel, Outlook, PowerPoint, and Word, and Python. This is just hilarious to me. Why was that possible? Give me industry knowledge. Agile. I know I got the request from the chat, but I don't know the first thing about machine learning. I would have to pass all questions to you. So I want to do Agile, and I think that's gonna be the I think we're gonna try it. Because how many 1.9 million people? I need to be better. I need to be in the top 30% of 1.9 million people who took this. Which doesn't mean I need to get 10 out of 15 questions right. If everyone else got just one question right, I could be in the top 30% with just 2 questions right. A fair remark, Json shouldn't probably appear as one of the core skills. Agile, I would have to show on my profile, so the stakes are suddenly higher again. We're gonna try it. I can retake it once. What is the name of the practice in which a cross-functional team collaborates intensively to develop a new product idea? Innovation and planning, hackathon, magnum focus, or Scrum at scale? So Scrum at scale isn't it. But a hackathon, a new product idea, how is this a practice? That a hackathon shouldn't be a regular practice. Innovation and planning wouldn't be developing. Magnum focus sounds like a TV show from the 80s about office productivity. So we're gonna go. Thank you for watching. If you have to leave, the video will be on Twitch afterwards and on YouTube tomorrow. I'm gonna go hackathon here. What is most important for a successful product owner to understand? The business context of the product, the underlying technology of the product, the development team's strengths and weaknesses, or the budget for the product. Those are all important for a product owner to understand. Technology, least so, because product owner comes at this from a business side, not from a development side. Strengths and weaknesses would help, but is less important for the planning. That's terrible. That's terrible to say. And the budget can't be the only thing that drives it. So the product owner cares about the business context that we create this in. What is the forming, storming, norming, performing model of team development known as? So these are the 5 stages that a team can exist in, and they go through them usually from in the beginning. They don't know each other yet, and they're still forming. Then storming, you have some conflict. It's the Tuckman model, and I know that because I created Red Roulette. I started and then I stopped working on it, and it was about exactly those 5 stages: forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. And those are Tuckman's stages. Cool, so this is the Tuckman model. The team is not going to complete its sprint commitment. Well, of course not. As the team facilitator, what should you do? Ask the PO to extend the sprint? We don't do that. Maybe in super rare and extreme cases, but usually not. Report this at the sprint review. Sprint review is not about, oh god, we didn't do that. Advise the PO as soon as possible. What are they gonna do? Points out the reasons why and collaborate on solutions. So as a team facilitator, you don't point out why stuff's going wrong. You lead the team to find it. Advise the PO. Out of these, that's the one that would lead to the least conflict, because you're not going to extend. Extending the sprint would give you inaccurate metrics. You wouldn't be able to track anything. And as a facilitator, you're not there to point fingers. So reporting and pointing out reasons. No, you can help, but you're not gonna. No, I think talk to the PO. What is not a technique used for splitting user stories? Split by line of business, split by alternative paths, split compound user stories, split by interface. I have never heard any of these. What is an interface? That sounds too programmery to me. I'm going to say that. What does collective ownership mean? Everyone is an owner of this. We're all working on this together. If someone is at fault, then the whole team is at fault. Yes, that sounds good. The team shares equally in the profits that the product generates, not in the context of Agile at least. Every member of the team can make changes to any part of the code as necessary. The team, not the individuals, receive performance evaluations. Would still do that. So I like the part where we're all in this together. Which statement about technical debt is true? Everyone has it, no one fixes it. It is at the product owner's discretion to allocate efforts to reduce technical debt. The product owner isn't the decider. The product owner helps and merges what the team can and wants to do with what the business wants. Technical debt is what the product owner owes the developers if they work a lot of overtime to complete the sprint. That's a complete nonsensical sentence. Technical debt is another name for bugs. I don't know. Not just that. It doesn't have to be buggy. It can be decisions that just don't carry the product further anymore. Adding technical debt should be avoided at all costs. I mean, yeah, but also there's sometimes other priorities and we can't stop working on something because it... So 2 definitely isn't it. It is at the product owner's discretion to allocate... Does the product owner decide what we do with technical debt? I think they want us to avoid it. According to the Agile Manifesto, how often should developers and business people work together? All the time. Weekly, daily, or bi-weekly isn't... So developers don't get a bunch of tasks that they need to do in their basement and then come back. We talk to each other as much as we need to. You have classified the features in your backlog according to risk and value. Which features should the team work on first? So in this matrix, we have low risk or high risk, and we have low value or high value. What is most important to work on? So we don't want to work on something that's low value. Those are the low-hanging fruit. Those are easy to do, but we want it to be high value, and low risk sounds like the most reasonable to do. There's very little that can go wrong, and we got a lot of value out of it, so of course that. In large-scale Scrum, what is the recommended ratio of Scrum Masters to teams? Large teams should have 2 Scrum Masters. Haven't seen that a lot. 1 Scrum Master can support up to 5 teams. There should be 1 Scrum Master per team, or 1 Scrum Master can support 1 to 3 teams. So if that is set, if that is a methodology, if that's a framework on Scrum, it's probably defined somewhere. But I'm gonna say if we can have our wish, then give each team a Scrum Master. Yeah, I'm not surprised that this isn't going as well as the others. People with a fixed mindset have better focus and longer attention spans, are more goal-oriented, are more afraid of failure, tend to be more resilient. A fixed mindset. You don't want to be... What is a user story? A description of what an actor wants to do in order to accomplish a goal. A description of an archetypal user so the developers can make the solution user-friendly. An agile term for a requirement, or a report from the field about a user's experience with a product. So it's not 3 and 4. A user story is, as a user, I want to do something so that I can. So it has to be first one. What is the name for the practice of going to see a process in use at the point of value delivery? Total Quality Management, Six Sigma, Kaizen, Gemba, Walk. I don't know. No, Six Sigma. The VP of Engineering wants to start giving out a Team Member of the Sprint Award to recognize a top performer in each group. What advice should you give this VP? Not a good idea, because we don't want to single people out. This is unhelpful unless there has been recent employee feedback indicating that people feel underappreciated. Yep. This is a good idea as long as a different person is recognized in each sprint. Nope. This is a good idea because giving awards can motivate people to do their best. If you just keep not getting an award, or if you already received an award, why would you put in more effort? This is unhelpful because it can destroy the team unity essential to achieving high performance. Not sure if the recommendation would be to ever do it, but if them feeling underappreciated is an issue, then maybe. 104. It could be either one. What is the activity of clarifying and expanding user stories called? Story point estimating. Definition of done, backlog refinement, user story expansion. How do you expand on a user story? You do user story expansion. We don't want to estimate. Definition of done is a document that says when a story is complete. Backlog refinement is what in the backlog do we want to work on and what can we throw out. User story expansion. Did that work? That didn't work. That is too bad. And I did very, very poorly. Higher than 52% of the assessment takers. I need to do a lot better, but that's something that I can do in the next stream probably. I'm not going to retake it now. That might be... Those two I kind of want, so I'm going to go back to them eventually. But still successful for the number of badges at least. If they are all well deserved, I don't want to judge here. Next stream will be on Tuesday at 10 p.m. Central European time, and I want to go back into code. So we're probably going to look at a few, I'm going to do MDX, so Markdown and JSX combined in a Next.js application to show some additional and potentially, I don't know, interactive data on a blog post. Thank you for the participation. I would not have been able to do this without you. This was fun and very stressful. I went through those very, very quickly. But I hope you took something away from that as well. Thank you very much. And I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.